What's going on, everybody? We got a great show lined up for you guys today. Shocking WWE talent releases. Jon Moxley goes to rehab, and is Ring of Honor closing its doors. Welcome to the World Wrestling Podcast. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the World Wrestling Podcast. I am one of your hosts, the Rated R podcast star, Seth, and joining me is
the world's strongest podcaster, the WSP, Jan.
My man. Everybody? What's going on, Jan? How we doing?
Oh, we're doing good, man. We're doing good. You know how it is. Enjoying wrestling, loving it. A lot of news stories have come out this week. It's a pretty busy week.
Yeah, right now is a key essential time to be a wrestling fan, with the emergence of AEW coming on super strong, WWE kind of floundering a little bit, Impact is kind of just lying around, but with all these brands and all these promotions going on, we're getting a crap ton of entertainment, and everyone is trying to be competitive with each other, which obviously then in turns puts out the best product possible for the viewer to watch.
Yeah.
So
would you say that WWE is floundering, or they're basically shooting themselves in the foot at this point?
So we're gonna get into that topic shortly, because I've read some stuff. I've also formulated my own opinions. I'm almost wondering if people are thinking that, if Vince McMahon is crazy for letting all these people go. I believe I have a different take on that. So, but we'll dive into that momentarily. So let's start out by saying, guys, if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can also go ahead and follow us on Instagram at World Wrestling Podcast. All the links will be in the description below if you're watching this on video. Great if you're listening onto a podcast. Also, don't forget to subscribe on the podcast, and also make sure you leave a review, because it helps. We want feedback. We want to do what we can do to make this more entertaining for you guys as possible. If there's any kind of things that you would like to hear that we're not offering on the show, please offer up a suggestion.
Yeah, this is our first episode. So any suggestions you guys have, just leave us a comment, send us a message. We want to know what we can do better, what we can how we can provide you with the information and stuff that you like.
Exactly. So without further ado, let's just dive right into it. I believe it was Wednesday night, we got a crap ton of shocking WWE releases. We're going to start off one by one and start going over who those releases were. So obviously, first up, we've got Eva Marie. Now, this is an interesting one for me, because they went ahead, they re-signed her, they paired her with Doudrop. Obviously, Doudrop was the more popular of the two, but I guess she didn't get the response that they were hoping for, and I guess they just decided to part ways.
And I just don't get this move by WWE. They hired her once, it failed, they released her. They, for some reason, hired her a second time, and once again, it was just a failed experience. Second time, they didn't do anything different with her. The only thing they did was change her hair color.
Yeah, because it was red and now it was pink, and
pink.
And it's interesting to me. It's like, why would you've obviously didn't have a good run with her your first go around, so why would you even invest the money into going ahead and trying to bring her back? I get it, they're trying to get younger, they're trying to get fresher, they're trying to show different faces, but to bring back someone that's already failed, the first go around, it's questionable. I think they could have allocated that money that they were paying her to a better talent. That's just me.
Especially with the amount of female talent they have down in the developmental brand. And see, Cara Jade is someone that's just come out of left field, and I think she's great. She's a little green, but she's still a better wrestler than Marie has, and they've given Marie 2 shots already at this point.
Well, I think it's safe to say that anybody is clearly a better wrestler than Eva Marie.
Yeah.
I think that's a safe assumption.
I tried to think of someone worse, and nope.
You can't.
Even the Bellas were better.
Yeah, they were. So with that being said, Eva Marie,
and that's a stretch.
We wish you good luck on your future endeavors. Not that you're listening to our podcast or anything, but we wish you the best of luck.
If you are,
this was a kind of a shocker.
Super surprising to me. You know, she's part of that Samoan bloodline. You know, The Rock's cousin.
Yeah, they could have added her. They could have clearly added her to the bloodline, so they actually had a female in there. But you know, there were a lot of things going around about, you know, speculating about her release and whatnot. You know, they said that they let her go because she wasn't vaccinated, which I think is horseshit, because I think at some point they've made all their talent get vaccinated, protect all the other people around them. Then she came out yesterday on social media stating that she needed some mental health, and you know, she needed some time, she needed to get better. You know, you gotta, you know, people don't understand, these guys are on the road 300 plus days a year, you know, and they are gonna need some time for themselves, you know, whether it's mental, whether it's physically, you know, these guys get injuries, you know, as much as we're not going to use the F word because it's forbidden in wrestling, but you know, but they need a break. Their bodies take such a beating throughout the year. So, but she also didn't have the best reputation, I guess, of working with other people. She would always, you know, botch moves and injure female talent.
But you know what? That's the sport, man. You know, this is the contact sport. While, you know, it's scripted, all these moves, you know, you can get hurt. You know, Seth Rollins, you know, Samoa Joe, they have their list of people they've hurt. Nia is someone I've met personally. She used to work out at the same gym I used to work out at when I was in Orlando. And she's one of the nicest people I had ever met. So thinking that she would intentionally do something that is, now I don't know her that well, just someone that I've met a few times and I've spoken with. She's super sweet, super nice. So I don't think she's intentionally a bad person from what I've gotten, you know, from the few conversations I've had. And this release came out of nowhere. Like, she was just on a roll with Shayna Baszler not too long ago.
Yeah, they could have. Yeah, because they were building that story. They were building that storyline where it was going to be her against Shayna Baszler, and you know, the other thing too is, like we just said, they could have easily incorporated her into the bloodline. You know, because they could have had a female in there, and you know, then they really could have been the dominant. Female. Yeah, then they could have really been the dominant trio. But listen, I'm sure like most of these wrestlers, most of them for the most part will land on their feet. She used to be a model, I believe, too, wasn't she?
I'm not sure. Maybe. I think I've heard something like that.
I think she was like a plus size model or something like that. So, you know, who knows? You know, sky's the limit for these people. They're so talented. You know, I'm sure they can figure out something.
Definitely.
This was I think him and another guy that we're going to bring up. These were like the two most shocking ones for me personally. They literally brought this, and this goes into a deeper conversation, which, you know, we can either have now or another time. He was fantastic in NXT. The gimmick Karrion Kross and Scarlett had together was a great gimmick. You know, she was the entrance, you know, that whole, his whole gimmick was around her and the entrance and all that stuff. And again, you know, obviously he got called up to the main roster, which nowadays a lot of the NXT guys that get called up flounder
It's a
on
death
the
sentence.
shows because the writers don't know what to do with them.
It's career suicide. And you think that the writers for NXT work for the same company as the main roster writers. I don't know why. So going back to what we were speaking about, you and I are in agreement with this. Him and someone we're gonna bring up later were the two most shocking. Karrion Kross and Scarlett in NXT had almost an Undertaker-esque entrance, you know, the Undertaker Paul Bear entrance, you know, where they had that mystique, that darkness. I thought he has the look, he has the size, he has the charisma.
He had a great gimmick in NXT, and again, when these guys come up, they blow it. I mean, well, they blew it from his first match on Raw because the whole gimmick that they were building around him when he got called up was because he didn't have Scarlett. Yeah. So what was supposed to happen is, he lost that first match to Jeff Hardy, but then after that, she was supposed to come back. And he was never supposed to lose again because that was like his life, like the urn. The urn was to the Undertaker, kind of like she is to him, you know, and that's what that was supposed to be. But we don't know whatever really happened with her and why she never came back. And they repackaged him to make him look some kind of like Roman-esque gladiator.
Jason.
Yeah, and it failed miserably.
Spartan Jason.
And this dude is an amazing talent.
Yes, he is. He on the mic, in the ring. The guy's incredible. The guy's the whole package. I have no idea how that happened to him. Thankfully, I know he's one of the ones that are going to succeed no matter where they go.
Oh, yeah,
because he's gonna be one of those number one free agent guys that everybody's gonna lobby for. These guys are definitely.
There's no question. This dude's either gonna land on Impact or because he was in Impact originally. Mm-hmm. But now I'm sure he'll go back to going by, instead of Karrion Kross, he'll go back to being Killer Kross. So
great.
Great. So we'll see what happens with that. This is again this was a total show, dude. I don't even want to talk about this. Yeah, his gimmick in NXT was so perfect. He bask in my glory. The whole thing was so awesome and so fantastic. And then what happens? You get called up to the main roster. And you freaking blew it. Freaking Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard just are. And you know what? You know what? Again, we're going to even dive deeper into this now, because
I'm one of those guys where,
we're gonna dive deeper into this, because again, these are all Triple H guys that are getting called up.
Yeah, definitely. This guy right here, I was one of those members of that Legion. This guy was one of my favorites from the moment he debuted. He was just amazing. He's this guy is almost 400 pounds doing some backflips and somersaults. The guy is a freak athlete, super powerful. He's an ultra nerd like me. Every time he does his finisher, you wouldn't know anything about it because you don't watch Dragon Ball. But he's a huge Dragon Ball Z nerd. So I'm a huge fan of his. Apparently, the main Vince and the main roster weren't ready to bask in his glory.
Ruined him.
Because this guy, he is literally limitless. This guy was amazing, and they ruined him. And I just feel that they're trying to get rid of all the Triple H guys.
Yeah, and you know what? I completely agree with you 100%. I believe that they are wiping the slate clean. They're trying to wipe away all the hard work that Triple H did in NXT. Him and Shawn Michaels took NXT to heights. And this is the funny thing. And again, this is all just speculation. This is just my opinion. I believe they ran Triple H out of NXT because NXT's ratings were outperforming Raw and SmackDown.
I 100% agree with you. I feel that Trips and Shawn put NXT to a point where it wasn't developmental anymore. It was a third brand.
Yeah.
Vince couldn't cope with the fact that these guys that he would have never given a second look to were dominating his roster.
And you listen to any of the interviews that Adam Cole has given since he left, and he has nothing but the highest praise for Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and he says that in every single interview when he's asked about it. And again, that only goes to further my theory about this. So I mean, Keith Lee is going to end up somewhere, whether it's on the Independents or Impact or AEW, and he's a great wrestler, and hopefully he could bounce back on his feet. And it was funny too, because again, another guy they just rebranded. They gave him Keith
Bearcat.
Bearcat. Yeah, Bearcat Lee. Where the hell did Bearcat come from? I know it was from another wrestler back in the day, but it is that's someone else's gimmick. Why are you going to rebrand him with someone else's gimmick?
Exactly. I don't get that. I understand about giving tributes to superstars, But you don't give a tribute to a superstar by naming another superstar his same exact legacy.
You don't. It just doesn't add up.
Remember when they tried to do that with the Big Show trying to be Andre the Giant's son?
Yeah. That was
because that went everywhere.
Yeah. So, but we do wish Keith the best, and I hope things work out for him. Ember Moon. So this is another product of NXT. She was on the main roster. She got hurt. She tried coming back, and then she went back down to NXT, kind of like in the similar fashion that Finn Balor did, hoping that it would rebrand him and revitalize the career. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way for her. Great talent, great wrestler. Just again, it's the mismanage of the storyline and a lot of the other stuff.
So I think this is where you and I are going to start to separate in our opinions. I think she's an amazing wrestler. I there's no doubt about her in-ring talent. But man, she cannot carry a promo to save her life. Again, my opinion. This is my opinion, but I've never heard her do a promo that I actually enjoyed. In the ring, I think she was amazing. And I think if she wouldn't have gotten hurt when she did, we probably would have seen her as Raw Women's Champion. And I would have been totally okay with that because I think she's an amazing wrestler. I put more emphasis on in-ring skill as opposed to promos, and because they can always give you a valet, they can always give you a mouthpiece. Hell, Brock Lesnar is one of the biggest draws in the world, and he cannot deliver a promo to save his life.
Oh, Paul Heyman does all the work for him.
Paul Heyman's the man. Paul Heyman's the man.
He's working Paul Heyman's working wonders for Roman Reigns right now. But with that being said, Roman has been getting better at cutting promos when talking. I will give him that.
Because Roman should have never been a face. Roman's best work as a heel. Look when they were in the Shield. When was the Shield the highest? When they were heels. They had their time in the face, and the Shield was never meant to be faces. Moxley, Rollins, Reigns, they're not faces. They're heels.
I don't know,
so
man.
It works for them.
I am personally a fan of a face Seth Rollins. That's just me. So
you don't like the Messiah gimmick.
This whole Messiah gimmick's really starting to get on my nerves. So we'll talk about that.
Best work.
Yeah. Frankie Monet. She was just recently signed to them not too long ago. They paired her with Robert Stone, which but she's also
who still has a contract, by the way.
Is she the girlfriend, or is she married to John Morrison?
I think she's married to John Morrison. Okay. So I really don't know much about her. Except that she was just paired with Stone. Other than that, the only thing that shocks me about this is that they really just signed her. That was such a pointless sign. I don't get why WWE signs all these guys with absolutely no plan for them.
So
we'll figure it out when we get there.
So we're gonna go into this topic after we end that, because I read something interesting this afternoon that I want to that actually will correlate to the women's part of this. So B-Fab.
They just brought them up to the main roster.
They just brought Hit Row up to the main roster, and then boom, gone.
And now they have to change their whole entrance. The music where she screams out "Hit Row!"
Yeah, Hit Row.
What the hell? They just brought all of them up to the main roster. It wasn't like the Karrion Kross situation where they brought just the guys and left her in NXT. Like, they literally brought them all to the main roster just to drop her very next week.
And it was very hard watching them last night without her. So again, she's part of the gimmick,
Exactly.
And the funny thing is that they actually I was reading something too. Again, they just re-signed her to a deal like 4 or 5 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which makes no sense. So what was the point of that then? You should have just let her walk.
This goes to show you that WWE is one of those situations where the left hand does not know.
Well, hold on
what
to
the right
that.
hand is doing. How does one part of the contract extend your contract and the other one say, "Hey, you're fired"?
Yeah. Well, hold on to that thought, because what I told you, what I read and what I'm formulating, you're going to be like, okay, maybe this does make sense. So,
you know what? It's like Sting. You know what makes sense? That nothing makes sense.
Grand Metalik. I think I think the whole reason behind this was that the whole lucha thing in WWE is kind of like dead. People aren't really feeling the lucha gimmick. I mean, yeah, you've got Rey Mysterio and you got Dominic Mysterio, but are they really like luchas anymore?
So I would have to agree with you. I think the lucha scene died with one of the what's it damn, I can't remember his name. The one that he was played by one character and then Unico started playing him.
Sin Cara? Sin Cara?
Yeah. I think Sin Cara, the Sin Cara gimmick failed of lucha in WWE because Rey Mysterio, let's face it, he's the face of lucha in WWE and he's heading out the door. Yeah. And Dominic, I don't care, he's Rey Mysterio's son. He's not a lucha. The guy's 7 feet tall.
Well, first of all, he's not lucha anyway because he's not wearing a mask.
Exactly, and technically in lucha you have to earn them.
Well, he ain't earning that mask because he ain't done shit, in my opinion, to prove that he's earned it. So,
earned it.
Yeah. So I don't really have much to speak about on Grand Metalik though. So it's I'm sure what is it? The Lucha Underground will probably wind up with him at some point.
Yeah. But just like the next guy, I'm pretty sure you're gonna show him next.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lince Dorado, like, and let's face it, the Lucha Bros in AEW are just dominating that scene.
Yeah, Penta and Ray Phoenix are just awesome right now. Like I saw them a couple of weeks ago when I went to AEW down in Miami, dude, and people went crazy for them. And I haven't seen people go crazy for Lucha in a long time.
Yeah, and that's the other and that's the other thing. That the WWE system holds them. The WWE system of wrestling limits what they can do. In AEW, the lucha, and their opponents know what to expect. In WWE, the luchadors are a botch fest because no one knows how to wrestle against them or wrestle with them. So it's a botch fest. And it's just hard to watch.
Yeah, it is a dying. I think it is a dying sport, a dying piece of wrestling, lucha, because again, you're not getting a lot of lucha product coming out. Everybody else is just regular, basic, hardcore, American wrestling, where, again, I think just lucha's not as exciting or mysterious as it used to be, like back in the Attitude Era.
Yep. And it sucks because it's when they're let go and let do what they can do, it's amazing to watch.
Oh, they do crazy stuff. Don't get me wrong. They are extremely talented, but obviously there are a lot of limitations that WWE handicaps these guys to, and and it sucks because it limits their in-ring performance.
Yep, and that's sad because they're amazing talents.
So we're going to be getting into people now that either I've never even seen or have never even heard of before, just to be honest with you guys. So I've never heard of Jessi Kamea.
Nope.
I have no idea who this is. She was down in NXT. Obviously, she couldn't cut it. If that was the case, I don't even think I've even seen her live on an episode.
I think she was in NXT's NXT.
Yeah, she was.
I think she was in NXT's NXT.
Yeah, she was NXT from Wish.
This was. I have no idea who she is.
So I have no idea who she is. I've never really seen her in ring performance. So I've really got not much to say about her. We have what is that? What is that? Zeta Ramier. Yeah, which she I know a little bit about. I've never seen her on TV, but she's the little bit that I do know, she's actually a student out of Booker T's school. So, I think she was on TV once, but very forgettable. Not anybody, again, not anybody that's worth remembering. Like she didn't do anything to stand out to make me remember her. So
well, they're young, they're new to this.
Yeah.
So I don't blame them for me not knowing who they are. It's just that they're young. They're just getting their teeth cut in the business. So I chalk it up to that. Not anything to do with their talent
All right.
itself.
So Trey Baxter, he was actually an independent wrestler before coming
This guy looks
to
like a child.
NXT. And he didn't get much airtime either. So, but I've already seen postings of him booking independent stuff already. So, so whoever, I forgot what his name is while he's back on the independent scene. So we'll have to do a fact check later.
So these guys
This
don't have
person again, another person I haven't seen, Katrina. You know what? I think when they're released from NXT, it's different from.
Yeah, they have a 30-day.
I guess the contract might be a little different, you know, per each person. So, Katrina Cortez, never even seen her. Never again, another person I never heard of. You know, so and again, me and you watch this stuff regularly, so I would remember seeing a woman in a lucha style mask or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we got Jeet Rama. So here's the funny thing with this dude, Jeet Rama. He actually wrestled Tuesday night on NXT.
Against was it Braun?
No, it wasn't against Braun.
It wasn't Braun Breaker. I have it here. Give me a second. He faced my breakout superstar.
Your what?
Of the week, Solo Sikoa. The little Uso.
Oh yeah, the Uso that could.
The little Uso, Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
The Uso that could.
Yeah, the Uso that could.
Yo, he's talented. But yeah, so I saw this guy wrestle Tuesday
on NXT on NXT 2.0, and then they were like, "Yo, you got beat by the Uso. Yeah, we fed you to him. You suck. You're goodbye. Have a nice day.
Bye.
See you later. See you on the next episode of 205 Live." You know, so it's just, 205 Live is like a death sentence according to a lot of these reports. So
we'll see him in Saudi Arabia.
See how Mia Kim.
So I'm a huge fan of hers. Mia Yim.
Yeah, part of Retribution at one point. Keith Lee's girlfriend in real life.
Yeah.
Very very interesting because again, you know, she was advertised and then never showed up.
Yeah, she got injured. And she had just been cleared, I believe, to wrestle, and they just never used her again. They just you know, and I thought she would have been a great addition to the women's division. I liked her in NXT. I would have loved to see her face Bianca, Becky, Charlotte, Sasha, pretty much anyone in the women's division. She was great in NXT.
And they're like, "Hey, you're like, you know what? We're letting your boyfriend go, and you know, here are your papers too. Have a nice day."
Yeah, you guys could both be unemployed together.
Yeah, unbelievable. So here's an interesting one that a lot of people probably didn't know. Henry Smith, otherwise known as Davey Boy Smith Jr., one of the sons of the British Bulldogs.
Didn't they just hire him last week?
They hired him back, and then now he's gone again.
I mean, this has to be a new record for somebody
hiring and firing. Yeah.
And this guy is good. If you guys haven't seen his independent stuff, I wouldn't go as far to say he's as good as his father, but
it's close. It's
good.
Yeah,
the guy is good.
Yeah. So Smith was
a beast, bro.
Yeah, this was a you know an interesting one. Not a lot of I don't know if a lot of people knew he was actually even back, to be honest with you. So I mean, when I was going through the list and I was like, who is this? And I went back and I was like, holy crap. I was like, wow. I'm like, when did he come back? So
that's another issue I have with WWE renaming their superstars.
Yeah.
Like, let him get over. This guy is British Bulldog's son.
Yeah, exactly.
Let him get over with Davey Boy Smith.
I bet you
Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I bet you Vince. Yeah, dude, Braun Breaker should be going by Braun Steiner.
Like, that's one of the biggest names in wrestling.
Like there's the Steiner name is not tarnished.
That's a dynasty name.
Yeah, the Steiner name isn't tarnished, and people would get behind him a lot sooner if they knew he was Rick. What is he? Rick Steiner's son.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I understand if he was Scott Steiner's son and the bad blood between the
there's some question. Yeah, there's some questionable there. Yeah,
but this is Rick Steiner's son.
Listen,
and there was no bad blood.
There's only one thing I want Braun to do. I want him to cut that epic style of promo that his uncle did. I'm 50% chance gonna win by 66 and 1/3%. You know, it's like he needs to cut that promo.
I want him to do a math promo.
Yeah.
I want him to do it on Samoa Joe in NXT.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
Just because.
Yeah,
I want to see. I want.
Uncle fought Joe. Yeah.
Exactly. I want a fight between him and Samoa Joe, and I want him to cut that exact promo. Just change Kurt Angle's name with anyone else's, and drop that same promo on Samoa Joe. Awesome. I mean, the crowd, since NXT crowd are more like us, like the hardcore fans. Yeah, they would flip. Like that crowd would go insane if he delivered that promo.
That would be awesome. And then Oni Lorcan. Another guy I never seen, had no idea who he is. I guess he was pretty big on the independents before he came to NXT, but again, another guy that I never saw on TV. Not
honestly, I thought Oni Lorcan was like NXT UK.
Yeah. So again, NXT UK is something Triple H put together. So why not clear house? So that's gonna wrap up the news about the releases. We all do wish everyone the best. We hope everybody lands on their feet. We can only speculate about where everybody's gonna land, but for the most part, either people are just gonna do self bookings and just do random independent shows. People are gonna wind up on Impact or AEW. It's just a question of who wants to shell out the money.
And I just want to leave by saying that we are fans of all of you guys. Even though some of you we might not know. We're just
wrestling fans in general. So
yeah, anyone that steps into that ring to take those kind of bumps to bring entertainment to us, we are fans of yours.
Yeah. So on another note, now moving forward with the show, we got some serious news on Wednesday about Jon Moxley checking himself into rehab for alcoholism. It's I gotta start off by saying, good for him. It takes a man to admit when he's got a problem, because just like me and you, we're men. We're stubborn about things. We don't ever want to admit when we're wrong. We don't want to admit that we have issues and things like that. Because we try to be tough guys and tough it out. But again, going back to what I was saying before, when you're on the road 300 something days a year, your body's hurting, you miss your family, you need something to take your mind off of it. And some of these guys drink, some of these guys unfortunately do drugs, which leads to, unfortunate, timely incidents, whether there's death involved or career ending stuff. And it sucks, but I'm glad that he's doing it. I hope he's doing it for the right reasons, for him and Renee and their kid, and all that stuff. So I hope he gets well soon. I wish him all the best. Obviously, Tony Khan was very supportive of that. He came out and made a statement about it, how, they're going to support him 100% while he's away. Even during the show, CM Punk came out and was like, you guys need to support Jon Moxley. And then even after Wednesday Night Dynamite ended, there was a video that surfaced off after it went off the air of Tony Khan in the ring with Orange Cassidy and Best Friends, and Daniel Bryanson was in the ring, and he was like, listen, or Bryan Danielson. I don't know why I just screwed that up. It's so, God, dude, it's like two first names. It's like Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, and for years we've been calling him one name. You know, and then
so Bryan Danielson was in the ring, and he was like, listen, he goes, we're behind Jon Moxley 100%. Even he came out and said, John's one of my closest friends. I mean, and he said if it wasn't for Jon, he wouldn't be here in AEW. So again, I wish him all the best, and I hope he gets better, and we hope to see him back soon. He got replaced in the TNT tournament, or the I guess the Full Gear number one contender tournament, I should say, and got replaced by Miro. But what are your thoughts on Jon Moxley?
So I don't think I could have said it better than you. It takes a strong man to admit when he needs help, because, like you said, it's hard for us to do that. We're programmed from birth as men to suck it up and push forward. So I'm glad that he recognized he had an issue and that he needed help to overcome that issue. I'm proud of him for doing that. And I just wish him the best of luck, him and his family. And I appreciate the AEW locker room and Daniel Bryan and Tony Khan and these guys going out there and supporting him the way they do. Because on top of everything else, when the few men that ask for help usually get a stigma around them forever, like, oh, they couldn't hack it, they couldn't handle it, they're soft. So seeing that kind of support, definitely it makes AEW look like a great place to work.
Listen, man, honestly, I personally know that I couldn't go 300 plus something days a year on the road and not see my family and not have bumps and bruises and things hurting with my body. I mean, shit, it takes a village to get me out of the bed in the morning to go to work. I mean, but it's interesting though.
Yeah,
it's definitely going to be. Go ahead, man.
And those death matches, man, Mox is the man, bro. Because those death matches, you couldn't pay me to do one of those.
Oh, dude. Especially the match that he had with Suzuki a couple weeks ago. I mean, dude, it was what was it? Suzuki and Lance Archer against Ambrose and Eddie Kingston, and they all went to town on each other, dude.
I mean, that was a bloodfest, dude.
Yeah.
That didn't even look like a wrestling match anymore. That was just, we're gonna kill each other and whoever's left standing.
Yeah. So
sorry,
we do
my daughter.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. So we do wish him all the best. We hope he gets well soon. We hope to see him back on TV and he gets back into title contention pretty soon. Next up on the docket, what the hell is going on with Ring of Honor?
Yo, yeah, you know what? Let's touch up on that. So Ring of Honor looks like it's imploding. According to what they sent out, they were basically saying they want to restructure and bring basically they want to restructure to bring better quality in the future. But I'm like, Ring of Honor was already great. Like, what do they want to restructure? What do they want to change? I really want to know what's going on behind the scenes of Ring of Honor. Because look, throughout the pandemic, they're the only company that didn't let go of anyone.
Well, and that's the thing. They also during the pandemic did not put on a lot of house shows and a lot of shows. So they were paying these people money. They were really losing money by not being able to have any shows. But it was very commendable of them to pay the wrestlers during the time. So I mean, I'm sure they took a big hit during COVID, like most people do, like most companies did. So it's interesting to see their as of December, after their last event in December, that's when everybody's free of their contract and they can go work wherever they want. I mean, they've got
and no compete clauses either. Yeah. They're releasing everybody from their contract completely, which is also commendable. That's great.
Yeah. I mean, the thing for me, like the three big names there for me that I feel are Danhausen, which Danhausen, we wish you speedy recovery on your broken leg, man. They actually started a GoFundMe to help to help him. So if I could find the link for that GoFundMe, I'll put it in there. I'll put it in there as well too, so you guys can help out Danhausen. Really nice guy, really great talent. On screen personality is just off the charts. EC3.
That guy has bounced around a lot lately.
EC3. So EC3 actually has his own YouTube channel where it's Control Your Narrative. And I actually watched the one that he did with Matt Cardona, and I actually watched the one that he just did with Braun Strowman or Adam Shearer, if you want to go by his real name. And they were very interesting documentaries or stuff like that. It has to do with these guys and their personal demons and their things, and and the things that they come across. So the fact that EC3 has a little bit of creative side to him, which is great, to put this content out and show a other side. Again, it goes all back to mental health. There's a lot of mental health stuff going on these days, and Braun went through a lot of stuff. So if you guys haven't watched it yet, I highly suggest you do. The other group of people that are getting released are the Briscoes. The Briscoes are a very solid tag team. So, it's again, it's interesting to see where a lot of these people are going to go once they're free. But the interesting thing is again, and now might be a good time to bring up that topic that I've been pushing off for the past couple of minutes. So there's a report that I read that Vince McMahon is basically letting go and releasing all these people to basically flood AEW, so they keep spending money and then they have no money left to run their business. So and if that's the case, Vince McMahon is a dick, but he's also a genius at the same time. Because if you think about it, he's already encountered this back in the 90s with WCW.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
It is a bold strategy. Think about it. They're releasing all these talent, which at least half the talent is going to wind up at AEW at some point. I mean, and they're going to keep shelling out money. And then the other thing too, you got to think of, AEW really isn't focusing so much on storylines and character development right now. It's more just matches that they put together. So there's not a whole lot of interest. So if you just keep getting guys coming in, you're just going to keep loading up your stable. But the problem is that you're not going to have enough work to go around. I mean, listen, they have Elevation, they have AEW Dark, which are both on YouTube. Then they have Rampage, and then they have Dynamite. Are they going to have to come up with a fifth show to showcase all the talent? And then again, how much money is going to have to get put into that show? But the one key factor that they're not thinking of right now at the moment is Tony Khan's dad has some deep fucking pockets. And I think that dude's pockets are deeper than McMahon's.
That guy's loaded.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly how this is going to play out. What do you think about this?
So my question, just to piggyback off what you just said, and I'll run backwards. Tony Khan's dad does have deep pockets, but is he willing to shill the money out for his son's pet project? He gave him a lot of money already, but is he willing to keep investing? That's the question. Now, if Vince is banking on the fact that Tony Khan doesn't have more money than him, his dad does, but not Tony Khan. If he's banking on that idea of yours, if AEW decides to go after at least half this roster, Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, Scarlett, their roster is gonna be pretty deep. And with 3 hours of wrestling, I think that they have a week or 4 hours.
No, it's three. It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours of It's 2 hours of Dynamite and 1 hour of Rampage on Friday.
Yeah. So 3 hours of wrestling a week isn't enough to showcase all these people. Either they're gonna create another show or extend their hours like Raw and SmackDown at 3 and 2, or they're gonna have the same issue. They're gonna have a bunch of talent just sitting in the back not being used.
Well, if they're even contemplating extending the shows, then they definitely do switch the time for Rampage on Friday nights and do an 8 to 10 and actually go head to head with SmackDown.
That wouldn't be a good idea. I would switch days.
Friday night. Friday
SmackDown
night
right now is the hottest. Whether you want to believe it or not, whether you like the show or not, whether you like WWE or not, SmackDown's the hottest show, the hottest wrestling show of the week. Whether you're a WWE mark or an AEW mark, the ratings don't lie.
Well,
the SmackDown replay had more views than AEW Dynamite Live.
Well, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that shortly. So, all right. So, with that being said, now we're gonna dive into the show recap. So, obviously, we're not gonna go over the whole shows. We're just gonna go over bits and pieces and things that we thought were the main takeaways from it. So, starting with Monday Night Raw. All right. First match right out of the gate. We start with Becky and Bianca.
Let me start this one off.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me start this one off. Monday Night Raw was a snooze fest. Okay. Becky and Bianca. That match has been done. We've been there. There's nothing new. They are great talents. Becky and Bianca can tear the roof off the place every time they wrestle. The problem is they're doing it every week.
So, well, but that's the storyline right now. That's the storyline. You can't do anything about that.
This is just, to me, this feud isn't working for me. So I'm saying, I think they're both really talented on the mic and in the ring, but this feud just isn't doing it for me. So I don't think, that's just my take on it.
I thought it was a decent match. The ending obviously was stupid with her. She was going to put Becky in the KOD, and Becky was last ditch effort, grabbed the turnbuckle, and
came right off.
See, but the thing is that the only issue I have with that match is the ending, because Bianca did not sell her head hitting the turnbuckle.
And then the announcer at the call was like, "Oh, she hit her chest." I'm like, her chest wouldn't have knocked her out. That wouldn't have been a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been a 1, 2, 3. So it was kind of a botched ending in my opinion, and it didn't get sold properly. It wasn't the best way to start out an episode of Raw, in my opinion.
At least we didn't get another hour of just talking.
That's true.
Started with a match this time.
That's true. And then we got Rollins coming out, the Monday Night Messiah, and he's cutting a promo about, Big E, and, he's the #1 contender, and, all this other stuff. So, it's funny that they're doing this right now, considering the fact that we all know what the matches are already for Survivor Series, because it's brand against brand. So, Big E's fighting Roman. So why are you even hyping up this Rollins thing right now? The contract he got, it's not like it's a Money in the Bank contract where he can get a match at any time he wants. Now, to me, that would have made more sense, where Roman beats Big E at Survivor Series, and then Rollins comes in and cashes in, but Rollins can't do that. So to me, it doesn't make sense to be hyping this up right now at the moment.
Can we talk about that stupid contract for a few seconds?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we have the Money in the Bank contract, right? Which is a ladder match. You get the briefcase. You have a contract for 365 days. You can cash in anytime, anyway, on any champion. So please tell me why the hell on Monday Night Raw they had a ladder match with a contract at the top of the ladder match for an almost similar outcome.
Well, because the writers are clearly running out of ideas. I mean, it's that simple. I bet you. Listen, I would love to be a fly on the wall in their room when they're writing up all the material for the show, because part of me as a fan likes to think that they just have a board and it's got a whole bunch of list of stuff on it, and they take fucking wads of wet paper balls and they throw it, and whatever it lands on, that's what the gimmick is. That's who matches up against who. That's what they're running with that night. That's just something that I think, and what, people might think I'm stupid for saying that, but you know what? That's just my opinion.
No, I think you're right. I kind of think they have like one of those like spin wheels.
Yeah, right? Whatever it lands on, that's it.
That. Yeah. Remember when they had that gimmick? I think it was like Monday Night Raw, like about a decade ago, that you had to spin the wheel.
They just did that. They just did that shit on NXT for Halloween Havoc. So going back to the Rollins promo, then all of a sudden Kevin Owens comes out of nowhere. Now, Kevin Owens is an interesting mix in all this, because he's another superstar whose contract is actually up in December.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they're at least giving him a little bit of a push before, he takes his bag and walks to AEW, because I'm almost 99.9% sure that's what's going to happen. So he's going to reunite with the young Bucks and Adam Cole, and they're going to start going back to being the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, which is what they were when they were in Ring of Honor. So
I don't think KO leaves WWE.
I think so. I think either he leaves, or Vince McMahon just throws an exuberant amount of money at him, and he's just like, all right, well, fuck it, I'll stay then.
He's gonna get the Ziggler contract. He's gonna get the buku money to be a jobber. He's not leaving WWE. No. He's moved so much that now living in Orlando for him is perfect. He's not leaving WWE.
So then, of course, that whole thing turns into, Big E and Kevin Owens having a match later in the night, which we'll get back into that. I've been watching this person for the past couple of weeks, and I gotta say I'm a little interested. Damien Priest They changed his gimmick without even saying anything.
But it's working.
I don't know if I'm feeling it just yet. I'm giving it some time. I'm giving it some time. You know, they're doing the whole light side, dark side thing with him, like, you know, man's internal struggle. You know, I mean, I'm not against it, but in the meantime, I'm just kind of like,
I'm digging it because I'm, you know, as a Latino, him as a Latin wrestler, I've been a fan of his since NXT. When he was North American champ, that his feuds with Johnny Gargano were incredible. But when he made the main roster, you know, they paired him with Bad Bunny and a few the Miz and Morrison, and it was just he was running stale. He was running stale to me. His gimmick was being stale. The Archer of Infamy just didn't work. But this gimmick, he's showing this aggressive side that I'm just digging.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's cool and everything. Don't get me wrong.
Because those kendo shots to the gut were nasty.
Yeah, well, they showed pictures afterwards with his shirt up, and dude, he was scarred.
Yeah, it was nasty. Like he took some hits. So I like the gimmick change.
But he's one of those guys that came up from NXT and is actually thriving. You know, so I hope it stays that way. I hope they don't. I always use this as the standard. Don't Finn Balor him.
Yeah, he's doing good. You know, he's one of the few that have come to the main roster and excelled.
Yeah.
And it looks like, you know, Vince is high on him because they put that US title on him and he's been catapulted. So hopefully he stays on this track.
And then we get into the main event, which is the Big E Kevin Owens match. And, you know, obviously prior to the match, Seth Rollins is like, oh, I'll come out and I'll support you and, you know, whatnot. And Kevin Owens is like, bro, he's like, I got this. Just stay out of my way, man. You know, they come out, they do the match and everything. And then, of course, you know, Seth Rollins has to stick his nose where it doesn't belong. And, you know, he winds up even costing Kevin Owens the match. But then at the end, you know, Biggie, you know, Kevin Owens is trying to do the right thing and apologize to the guy, saying, hey, I didn't ask for this. He just came out and did it. And Biggie's like, yo, you ain't got a good track record of being honest and being legit. So, but you know what Biggie does? He goes, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to hit you with the big ending. And that's what he did. And he hit KO with the big ending. And I was just kind of like, all right, this is kind of like a lame way to end Raw. I mean, honestly,
it was so weak. Like, so is Big E a face or heel? Because that's a heel tactic.
Oh yeah, that was total. That was total heel. That was total heel.
And I understand Big E with Kevin Owens when Kevin Owens betrayed the New Day. Well, Big E was in there, so I get it. You know, there's some PTSD there. You know, that Big E is feeling. But the dudes there apologizing. All you do is walk out of the ring. You know, say, all right, look, I'm not gonna shake your hand, but whatever, we're cool, and walk out. Hitting him with a big ending like that on that cheap shot. To me, it didn't work for Big E's character. You know, it's his character, the Big E character, wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So to me, that was a lame way to end Raw, and it did not. It buried Kevin Owens.
Yeah. If I had to give a letter grade to Monday Night Raw, definitely I would say like a C-.
Yeah, I would C- to like a D+.
Yeah, I would say like a C- on that. Yeah. That brings us to Tuesday night, freaking NXT 2.0. I don't even know where to begin with NXT 2.0, man.
I'm gonna start with this. I love Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
As the NXT Women's Champion. I
would do unspeakable things to Mandy Rose.
Unspeakable, but I like Toxic Attraction. I'm actually a big fan of theirs.
Yeah, she went back again. Another person that went from the roster back to NXT and now is thriving in NXT. So
with the hair change, so she showed Eva Marie how it's done.
Exactly. So she comes out and she's doing the typical heel thing. Oh, I'm the best champion ever. Blah blah blah. And then of course a challenger emerges. So Io Shirai comes out, and obviously they start going back and forth, which obviously is going to lead to a storyline now with them. And, Toxic Attraction comes out and then helps, Mandy and whatnot. So, it was an interesting way to start the show.
Yeah, pretty fun.
This guy, Zion Quinn, fighting Robert Stone. I walked away. I'm not going to lie. I walked away from the TV for like freaking 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I come back to and this dude is in the middle of the ring singing Sexy Boy to a dude in a fucking onesie, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I'm like, did I just miss something?
That was the best segment on by far. The best segment. A dance off, a rap off, a sing off, a dance off. And homeboy Zion Quinn is singing "Sexy Boy" with the pelvic thrust and everything.
Yeah.
The dude is just thrusting.
He was singing.
A guy in a onesie.
Listen, he was singing that, and I'm not gonna lie, the inner fanboy in me was just waiting for Shawn Michaels to come out and be like, "Bro, what are you doing?" and just belts him with a super kick.
Right?
You know,
right? It just actually at first, because you didn't see I guess because you walked away, you didn't see the whole thing. So at first when the song came on, Stone turns around and here comes Shawn Michaels, like what the hell? And then this guy starts singing and fell out of my chair. It's touching the bed. And I almost fell off my bed, off the chair, onto the bed. Because I'm thinking Shawn Michaels was into the ring, and I know where Zion Quinn starts singing, and it was glorious.
Yeah,
it was glorious. And then he went on to thoroughly dismantle.
Oh yeah,
Robert Stone, who I can't stand. Robert Stone.
Oh yeah,
I think the guy is ridiculous.
Yeah, he messed that dude up. So that was interesting. That was at least one of the entertaining parts.
Keep your eye on Zion Quinn. That dude has a future. You know, if WWE doesn't release next week.
Yeah. So then we get Legado del Fantasma defeating Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly. Let me tell you something. If they ever just wanted to throw tag teams together, Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly, I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Two totally different guys from the end of the spectrum. And to me, pairing him with Kyle O'Reilly, getting paired with this guy and having this type of match, that just shows me that they're burying Kyle O'Reilly before he leaves.
Yeah.
Before he leaves. And this is, again, here's another one of my contract conspiracies, which is something that we're gonna be talking about, very often on this show. I bet you they've already approached Kyle O'Reilly about renewing, and Kyle O'Reilly was like, "Yo, go take a flying fuck. I'm done."
Yeah.
And
right over there is where you go with that shit.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, well, you know what? This is what you're going to do now for the rest of your tenure here. So they're basically going to bury him, devalue his stock as a performer, which then could lower the net amount of income he can get elsewhere. And I think they do that. A part of me thinks that WWE, when guys are on their way out, they totally devalue them as much as they can and try to bury them as much as they can, so it lowers their stock when they leave.
It makes sense. So they sign the biggest contract in WWE, or they take less money elsewhere. And you know what? That wouldn't surprise me. But Von Wagner, why the hell does he look like Vigo from Ghostbusters 2?
So I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb here. You can tell that dude is green as fuck.
Green as grass.
You can tell that dude is super green. His moves are not clear, not crisp at all. Very uncoordinated. Now, a big,
he's the white almost.
He's the white almost.
7 feet tall, green as grass.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody move that much slower, except for Dominic Mysterio when he goes around the ropes and he's doing a 619.
Oh my god, that's one of the worst 619. Oh my god, that's so bad. The fact that this guy's a 300-pound, 7'2" dude trying to do a 619. They should pair Dominic Mysterio and Wagner up and have Almost manage them.
Oh man, that would be. You know what? You say that, watch it happen, and they become like the greatest thing ever.
Then you know what? I want my royalties.
Yeah, exactly. And then we go into Braun Breaker versus Andre Chase. Dude, Braun Breaker, literally, this dude was talking in the ring. Braun Breaker comes out and literally just hands this guy like the ass whooping of a lifetime. And don't get me wrong, I like Braun Breaker, but I think Breaker. And I think what they're doing with him is kind of like almost the same thing that they did with Roman Reigns when he was getting his singles push. Like they're almost trying to force it on you. And I don't know if I like that approach. I like the guy as a wrestler, but again, you got to give him time to develop before,
he's still a little green. Like the guy is great.
Yeah,
but the thing, he physically, the guy is great. The guy can put on a match. The problem is he the big thing about wrestling is that ring psychology. I was watching a video by Al Snow.
You sent me that video and I watched it. It was a great video. Then we move on to Solo Sikoa or Sikoa, and he defeats newly released Jeet Rama.
The very next day. That was like, it was like one of those loser gets fired matches.
Yeah. It's contract on a pole.
Contract on a pole match. I'm a big fan of Solo Sikoa. He's just as good as his brothers. He's still a little green, but he has almost like that Umaga feel to him.
I wouldn't say Umaga feel. I look at him and I kind of almost see the second coming of Samoa Joe.
That too.
Yeah.
I like him. I'm a big fan. I think the three main guys I'm looking at NXT now are him, Braun Breaker, and Zion Quinn. I think if they keep developing, they're going to be monsters in the future.
So, and then obviously he made quick work of Jeet Rama, and then obviously the main event was Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams against Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis. So I'm gonna go on a limb here. I actually like Dexter Lumis's character.
Hell yeah.
I think it's awesome. I just don't think he's ever going to make it up to the main roster, unfortunately. I think he's one of those guys that are going to eventually wind up being in like some sort of next round of cuts. Gargano, no secret there. His contract's up in December as well with Kyle O'Reilly. Don't know exactly what the situation is on Johnny Gargano, only because Candice LeRae, his wife, is pregnant. So I don't know if he's going to resign or they're gonna move him up to the main roster. So
Gargano will probably re-sign and stay in NXT. He's gonna face. They already put in the seeds of one more time between him and Ciampa, so that's gonna be a nice long feud.
I don't believe that's gonna happen. I think what's gonna happen is that he's gonna walk away from NXT and they're gonna bring him up to the main roster.
I hope not. I really hope not.
I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not really.
They tried that one. Remember, it didn't work.
Yeah,
they called him Ciampa, Black, and
Ciampa up, and they were reuniting DIY, and but
DIY.
I don't know how I feel about this dude Carmelo Hayes.
Nah, not a fan.
And, I'm not really feeling the gimmick. So I mean that's just me. But I hope. I hope things work out between Gargano and Lumis, and they stick around for a while. And
I'm a huge fan of Dexter Lumis. I started noticing him in his feud with Austin Theory, which by the way also worked out at the same gym I was working out at. Cool guy, super cool guy.
Did he talk to you at least, or he just gave you hand gestures like he didn't break character?
We didn't speak once, but his fiance, girlfriend, was one of the trainers at the gym, and she was super cool.
Okay.
But his feud with Dexter Lumis, that was great. I love that whole sneaking up, kidnapping him out of nowhere. I think that gimmick was great. I love the whole Indy Hartwell storyline.
Oh yeah, now, what is it? They're what do they call them? Indy Hartwell. What is it? The
Dexter
Index.
Lumis?
Index. Yeah. Index. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's a clever name. Their wedding was awesome. Where anyone want to speak up, everybody, and he pulls out the axe, the hatchet, and the tomahawk from his thing, and everybody was like, no. Yeah, we're good.
I think that guy's great. But I disagree with you on the fact he won't get called to the main roster. I think he will. I just think the main roster writers will have no idea how to work that character, and he'll end up a rosebud.
Oh, he'll end up a rosebud. Nice. So
he'll end up a joke character. He'll have that. Remember that DDP stalker gimmick with Undertaker?
Oh, that was great. I love that. That was great.
That's what they'll see this guy with.
Yeah. So we end NXT there, and thank God NXT ended because I was having a difficult time getting through it. So we move on to
It wasn't great.
Wednesday night, and now we're in AEW Dynamite time. So obviously, first match we start out with Kenny against Alan Angels, part of the Dark Order. Kenny's out there doing his thing, and they're fighting. They're having a good match, and then obviously shit goes sideways, and then next thing you know, Hangman comes out, and they're really, if there's one storyline going on right now in AEW, that's the storyline. They're building the storyline between Hangman and Kenny Omega because it goes back to when they were tag teaming.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, so if there's one storyline for certain, it's that storyline. That's one match I'm really interested in seeing at Full Gear. But that was a good match to start. Obviously, Kenny does his thing. Kenny wins the match and whatnot.
And then we moved on to
yes, CM Punk cutting and another one of his promos, about Eddie Kingston. Now, this whole thing intrigues me, and then obviously this dives into Friday night. So obviously CM Punk was cutting, talking to Shivani backstage, and of course after Eddie Kingston lost to Bryan Danielson, Eddie Kingston comes in, interrupts, and him and CM Punk, start going back and forth, and CM Punk comes out, and I love CM Punk because CM Punk is a dick. At the end of the day, the dude is a dick. Comes out, he's like, "You owe me an apology for cutting on, interrupting me while I'm trying to do my thing with Shivani." And he's like, "I expect apology from you on Friday night on Rampage." Okay, way to set up get people to come to watch Rampage on Friday night. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't like Eddie Kingston at all.
I like Eddie Kingston.
I can't stand him.
He's the Mad King. I like him.
He is horrible. You like him because y'all from the same part of the country. It's like me saying I like The Rock because he's from Miami.
But you do like The Rock.
But not because he's from Miami. Okay, that's like me saying I like Dolph Ziggler because he's from Hollywood.
Yeah, well, he's not really from Hollywood, which I, don't know
that's
why
where
he
they
uses. I don't know why. You could come from anywhere in the world. You want to come from Hollywood, Florida? Nobody wants to come from Hollywood, Florida. Come on.
There's crackheads in Hollywood, Florida. Why would you want to come from there? Like Hollywood's like crackheads and drug addicts. I don't know. And he's from Cleveland, Ohio, so I don't know why they bet him from Hollywood.
That doesn't make any sense. So CM Punk comes out, demands that Eddie Kingston meets him Friday night on Rampage, and we'll talk about that when we get into Rampage. Next thing up is the Inner Circle comes out, and they have their contract negotiation about the teams that they're going to be, the members of American Top Team they're going to pick. So the one funniest moment in this whole thing is Paige Van Zant comes out and basically sets up Jericho. I mean, you couldn't have served that up better, even if you tried.
You couldn't have scripted that. I mean, that was you can see you gotta thank Jericho and the Attitude Era for that one. Yeah. Because you could not have written a script better than that.
Yeah, I'll take on all five of you. That's what she said.
And he just said, "Well, maybe you can put on your OnlyFans." I mean, he didn't miss a beat.
Nope.
He didn't. She finished her statement, and he just bam.
He might not be at the top peak that he was at physically in ring, but dude, that dude can still cut a promo like it's nobody's business.
That guy is incredible. I mean, he did not miss a beat. He would that to me was the highlight of the night. And it was literally at the beginning of the show.
So obviously we knew where this was going, where they were choosing the members. So obviously it was Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page. They're gonna have Junior Dos Santos, one of the other guy. I forgot what the other guy's name was that they were going with, and then obviously Dan Lambert. So of course Dan Lambert's sitting there pitching a fit, saying, "Oh well, I'm not part of American Top Team," and Jericho's like, "Well, you said you were the first member," and so obviously we know Dan Lambert's going to get his just dues during that match at some point.
He'll get put in the walls of Jericho.
Yeah. Then next up we've got the first round of the TBS tourney. We got Jamie Hayter versus Anna Jay. Obviously we knew Jamie Hayter was probably just going to steamroll Anna Jay, which is exactly what she did, especially with Britt Baker out there and Rebel. You knew she wasn't gonna. Yeah, she wasn't gonna lose. And then my current top 5 list of favorite current wrestlers, MJF. I love MJF, dude. MJF is just, dude. If there's one guy who lives the gimmick 24/7, it is MJF. I love that dude, and I've told you that to me, MJF is a modern mixture of Ric Flair and Triple H, and I feel it within my soul. You know,
I agree with that 100%. MJF is the man right now. That dude lives this gimmick, and for those of you listening and watching us, we have a friend that got a signature, a signed autograph from MJF. I literally said, what was it? Fuck you or some shit like that.
He was like, he's like, our friend Scotty, he goes, fuck you, Scott, fuck you, MJF. And it was even better if you watch the Roads to the Top show. It was the episode after Brandy had the baby, and Cody's back in Jacksonville, and MJF peeks his head in the locker room, and he's like, "Hey, Cody, everything good? You have the baby?" He goes, "Yeah, everything's good." He goes, "All right, you stupid piece of shit." And then he just walks away. And then he just walks away. And I'm like sitting there dying laughing. I'm like, dude, this dude is my freaking hero. I love this guy so much.
He's so good. His gimmick is so great, and he lives it. He is MJF. There's no doubt about it.
And he comes out and he starts, they're hyping up the match about with him and Darby that's going to happen at Full Gear. And he tries to get away at some point, and Sting comes out with like a whole herd of Sting guy,
bunch of Darbys.
A whole bunch of Darbys. And, they try to block him. And then all of a sudden, freaking Darby's in the crowd like the Invisible Man with a trench coat, a hat, and what is it? Ace tape wrapped around his face. And then he takes it off. And boy, did he put a whooping on MJF. MJF couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, that was such a great segment. Just seeing Sting come out with all the guys looking like Darby Allin, and Darby Allin being the most inconspicuous person in the crowd, like in a trench coat.
Yeah,
like no one around him said, "Who the hell is this?" And then this feud is probably one of the best feuds going on in AEW right now.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is that Darby doesn't even really have to say anything. MJF can carry the whole thing just by himself talking.
MJF is such an old school persona. He can carry that feud by his damn self. Like all Darby has to do, it's like our partnership. You do all the work, I just got to show up. That's you're MJF, I'm Darby Allin in the situation.
So the funny thing is, I get an email from Shop AEW the other day, and it's like, oh, you get like 10% off of anything that they have in stock. So I'm like, let me scroll through. So I'm scrolling through, and I click on MJF stuff. MJF has an ugly Christmas sweater on there.
Oh, God.
It's his face on a blue sweater, and it says, "My Hanukkah is better than yours, and you know it."
Oh,
don't think for a fucking hot second that I wasn't screaming at Melissa saying, "Yo, you gotta buy this for me for Christmas or for Hanukkah." And I'm like, I need this shirt in my life like right now.
You can't get any. That shirt is so great. I can just picture you wearing that. I would wear it everywhere. I'm gonna have to throw a Christmas party just so you can come over in that shirt.
My Hanukkah is better than yours, and you know it.
I'm gonna do a whole party just so you can come over wearing that shirt.
So that was a great promo between them two. Then we get into Cody and Andrade El Idolo. So I got to be honest with you. I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this, but I really don't like the fact that everyone is booing Cody.
So there's no reason to.
There's no reason.
People are saying that he's burying talent. Please tell me a talent he's buried. The guy has elevated everyone he's ever faced.
They just did an episode of Roads to the Top where he purposely said, "Hey," to Malachi Black. He goes, "Bro, I'm going to put you over tonight."
Like, that guy has not buried anyone. The guy has put over everyone he's ever faced.
Why?
He's won 3 matches in AEW in his career.
Why are you and if he really and if everybody really wanted to boo him and give him a hard time, he would be the AEW champion.
I mean,
the dude hasn't even strapped himself, only with the TNT belt for a short time, and that was it.
At this point, I would have him heel turn and just accept it and go after the title.
Well, see, but like that's the thing. Like he cut a promo last week saying that he's not going to turn. He's not going to turn. Which obviously we all know it's bullshit, and he is going to wind up turning at some point. But it's like, dude, it's
listen. If the Big Show can turn 3 times in the same night, Cody can turn.
The Big Show can turn 3 times in the same night.
I mean, I've seen Big Show turn 3 times in the same night.
We all did. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like Cody can turn.
Yeah. And then, and then obviously we have that match and Cody winds up losing and FTR comes out and everybody's just beating the shit out of Cody. I was hoping somebody would have came out to help Cody, but that wasn't the case. So we'll see where that goes from there. And then obviously because, Moxley, went into rehab, Miro took his spot in the tournament. He fought Orange Cassidy and Miro basically just destroyed Orange Cassidy. I mean, as much as I love Orange Cassidy, I mean, Miro just, dude, Miro, ever since Miro left WWE, that dude is just on a whole nother level with his game. Yeah. His promos are amazing, even though he's not even talking to anybody and he's pretending to talk to God. I mean, the vignettes and the promos and all that stuff, it's been fantastic great stuff. His wrestling's always been on point. I mean, it's great to see this. And the fact that he beat him and then Brian Danielson comes out.
Yeah. Oh, that stare down was great.
And that stare down was great. And then, dude, he even put his hand out to shake his hand, obviously, to do the face thing. And then Miro does the heel thing. Oh, I'm too good to shake your hand. It's like, but that is definitely, as far as I'm concerned, that is probably one of the matches I want to see the most. I want to see how he handles Miro.
So I just want to put this little fun tidbit in there. Miro's the reason I started watching NXT. I'll never forget that I was watching the Royal Rumble one year and he came out. He was like number 3. And I was like, who the hell is this guy? And this guy got in the ring in the Royal Rumble and dominated. I saw this big 300-pound guy do a spinning heel kick. And I'm like, what is this? So I looked him up.
It gave you hope. That's what it gave you.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're that big and I'm that big, shit, maybe I can pull those types of moves off.
Exactly. So I go on, online and I start looking at this guy's NXT so funny. This guy's a monster. Where the hell have they been hiding this? And then I started discovering all the other NXT guys. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's because of Miro that I started watching NXT.
Yeah.
That guy is one of my favorites. He's awesome. He's married to the fine ass Lana, so
yeah. So that basically ends Dynamite, which was if I had it. Oh, actually, so NXT.
That's the way you end the show, by the way.
So we didn't do this. NXT, I would give a C+. I'd give a C+. Dynamite
a C+ because I like that.
I'm just a sexy boy.
I give it a C+ because of that. I don't know.
You think I'm cute? Yeah, so NXT gets a C+. Dynamite, I would give a solid B.
Yeah, definitely.
I would give a solid B to Dynamite. Impact. Steve Maclin versus Rohit Raju. They're doing a new X Division tournament for the number 1 contender. I don't know much about either guy, so it's kind of hard to give anything. I mean, it was a decent match for what it was.
I thought it was a good match. I thought for 2 guys that I really don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that was a hell of a way to start Impact, to be honest with you. The match was good. And it's for the X Division, which it holds a place in my heart. I love the X Division. I love what it represents in Impact. How you can use the X Division to challenge for the main title.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of that. So I thought that was a good way to start Impact.
Well, if I understood this correctly, Steve Maclin was actually in NXT at some point. So if memory serves me correct in what I've read, so that's and then we go into Mickie James Hardcore Country versus Madison Rayne, which is another former Knockouts champion. So pretty decent match. Obviously, Mickie James with the Mick kick.
It's incredible. Mickie James at her age can still go the way she does.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, she can. Mickie James can carry a woman's division.
Yeah,
by herself. She is amazing, and anyone that wrestles with her automatically looks good. Granted, Madison Rayne is amazing. She is great. She was a great Knockouts champion in her back then, and when she was champ, and she's great in her own right. But Mickie James it's not just a name recognition, it's just she can still go. She elevates that division just by being there.
And then we get the Good Brothers versus Finn Juice. So this was an interesting match. Obviously, Gallows and Anderson. I love Gallows and Anderson. They're a great tag team.
Not a fan of Gallows. Love Anderson.
See, I'm a fan of both.
Nah.
So
Fester can stay there. What's his name? Fester Fizz.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. So
his gimmick and his old gimmick.
Old gimmick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a good match. It's funny though that I guess there's a new version of the Bullet Club, and they come out and they come out and they attack the Good Brothers, who were part of the founding
OGs.
Yeah, the OGs of the Bullet Club. It's like, what the hell is going on with this shit? So it's
almost like fake Kane or like fake Diesel and fake Razor.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see. Old Bullet Club versus new Bullet Club, which I'm sure that's what this is leading to.
It's only one Bullet Club.
Yeah, exactly. And then we get the main event, which was actually a really good main event. It was Josh Alexander, Eddie Edwards, and Matt Cardona versus Moose, W. Morrissey, and Minoru Suzuki.
Anything that Matt Cardona's in, you're gonna automatically say it's good.
Not really.
Because you're such a huge fan of Matt Cardona.
Because I'm such a fan of him doesn't mean anything. But it was a good match.
Oh, no, but that was a great way to end it. Josh Alexander's a beast, and Moose is amazing.
I see Josh Alexander, and I see the second coming of Angle.
Hold the fuck up.
I see the second coming. I see the second coming of Angle with Josh Alexander.
The second coming came with Jason Jordan, his son. Okay.
No. That was just like the coming that just like the.
Let me tell you the second coming of Kurt Angle. Okay, Shelton Benjamin was the second coming of Kurt Angle. There's no arguing that.
Oh no, that was no.
There's no arguing that.
No,
WWE did not use Shelton Benjamin correctly, but Shelton Benjamin was the second coming of Kurt Angle. He was incredible. Second to him, Chad Gable is a wrestling machine. Okay. And if you really want to go legit, second coming of Kurt Angle is that new guy that we just signed, who's literally an Olympic gold medalist. Gable Stevenson. The other Gable, yeah.
Gable's. Listen, I like Josh Alexander. I think he's a great technical wrestler. He's definitely got the look and got the part, and I'm sure it's only a matter of time before he winds up on the bigger show. But it was a great match overall. A lot of highs, a lot of lows.
A lot
of lows. And then, but obviously the heels got the win. So Moose and Morrissey and Minoru got the win because what was it? Josh Alexander was about to deliver his move to Moose, and freaking W. Morrissey just came and just dropped the boom with that big ass boot of his. And then Moose did his Moose speared him, and then that was basically it.
Yeah, but and they're building Moose up, man, and Moose is a monster.
Well, that
guy's a genetic freak.
They're building that Moose Josh Alexander match because Josh Alexander just beat
Christian Cage.
Yeah, Christian Cage for the Impact belt, and then of course they had the Call Your Shot, which was their version of Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and
Moose won. Moose and Matt Cardona were the last two in the ring. Matt almost had it, dude, and I was so pulling for Matt. I was hoping they were going to give this man his due. And
triple champion.
Yeah, and Moose took him, and then Moose came out right after that match, and he just speared Josh Alexander right in front of his wife and his kid in the ring, and just pinned him 1, 2, 3, and just took that right away from him. But it was a good main event Impact match. I enjoyed it.
It was a good way to start a feud. I'm telling you that last week and this week of Impact, that Josh Alexander Moose match, that's textbook how you create a feud. And they are doing a hell of a job with it.
Yeah, I agree. So I would go as far as to give Impact probably like a B-.
Honestly, I thought Impact was better than Dynamite. I would have to give them a B+.
I go B-. See, this is the great thing. We agree to disagree. So this is what the world needs: controversy.
I think right now Impact that episode Impact was better than Dynamite.
And then we move on to Friday Night SmackDown.
And WWE does their thing, starting with a promo.
Starting right out with Roman Reigns, right out of the gate, coming out with the bloodline, and
I can't stand Roman's new theme.
Yeah,
that theme song is garbage.
And Roman's talking, he's doing his thing, and then they go into about what happened the week before, where the New Day beat the Usos, and Roman's talking to Jimmy, and he's like, "Yo, bro," he's like, Us, what are you gonna do about this, Us? How are you gonna correct this, Us? So it's like,
Us.
yeah, Us. So
Us.
and
that's almost as bad as Hogan's brother.
Yeah,
brother.
Well, it's the brother for this generation. That's what it is. So then, obviously the New Day comes out, Sir Kofi and King Woods. So, and the whole thing, I'm dying laughing because I am not a fan of Game of Thrones, and anybody that knows me knows that this is no secret. The fact that Kofi had the Hand of the King pin on his shirt, and then it's funny, and then the other Game of Thrones reference where he's like, if I win, you got to bend the knee. Usos have to bend the knee, and and of course Roman answers on their behalf. He's like, "Oh, you're on," So that would and then of course Roman was, not to leave out the main part of that promo where Roman was still talking shit about Brock. It's easy to talk shit about a guy when he's not, obviously when he's not there. So obviously they're still building that.
He beat Brock.
I'm not saying, it's not the first time that he's beat Brock, but again, he's just, doing, listen, they're eventually setting it up for where Heyman goes back to, where Heyman goes back to, Lesnar.
Oh yeah, definitely. By the way, I've had my headset on backwards this entire time.
Nice.
That's why I felt so uncomfortable.
Nice.
But yeah, they're setting it up so Reigns,
like you've been saying, Heyman on a pole match.
Listen, that's the way to do it. Or they do that Shark Tank thing again.
we want to fight in the cage. Yeah, they hang him above the ring in the cage.
God, that'd be so great. Oh man. But it's gonna be one of those matches where Heyman turns on Roman does the face turn, and then we lose the whole tribal chief gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. Then we get this tag team shit, which is new to me. Los Lotharios, which is Angel Garza and Hector Carrillo.
We just skipped this match altogether.
Yeah, and they go up against Cesaro and Mansoor, which is like, again, one of the most oddest pairings.
They just broke up Ali and Mansoor, and I liked Mustafa Ali and Mansoor.
It's not Mustafa. It's Mustafa.
No, it's not Mustafa. It's Mustafa. Damn it,
it's Mustafa.
So I actually liked that pairing of Ali and Mansoor. So they break them up just to team Mansoor with Cesaro, and I feel so bad for Cesaro because that guy has so much potential. It's just one bullshit tag team after another.
Exactly. So that's exactly where I was going. This, to me, this is just a way of burying Cesaro again. Cesaro. I don't know why
he has everything Vince wants: size, body, he has a look. That guy can wrestle a mop and have a 5-star match, and Vince just doesn't like the guy. No. I don't get it. He has everything Vince could ever dream of in a wrestler.
Listen, give it like another couple of months. I guarantee you we don't see more releases, and I guarantee you Cesaro's probably on that list.
I have not. They'll probably change his name back to Antonio Cesaro.
Yeah, unbelievable. So
and Los Lotharios, another team where let's just put a bunch of Mexican guys together. I don't even know if they're Mexican, but they're
building it as their cousins. So
they were when Garza was with Andrade. Garza beat the crap out of Humberto Carrillo.
Yeah,
when they were feuding with him.
Yeah,
so now they're cousins.
Yeah, and they're Los Lotharios.
Are we just supposed to forget all the history they have?
Yeah. That's what they want you to do. So Los Lotharios winds up defeating Cesaro and Mansoor. So interesting. Then
can we back up for a little bit because we missed this?
Sure.
We missed this on Monday Night Raw when Nigerian Prince Apollo Crews came out and challenged Damien Priest for the U.S. title with his Commander Aziz.
Yeah, Commander Aziz.
That's almost as bad as this Lotharios thing. Sorry, I just brought it up because out of nowhere, Apollo Crews has an accent and he's a Nigerian royalty.
Instead of RK out of nowhere, it's just going to be Apollo Crews out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, yeah. And then you have these guys that are just cousins out of nowhere.
Yeah. Then and then we get Drew McIntyre's open challenge.
That was a great match.
I'm not going to lie. That was a great match. I love how Ricochet was cutting his promo while he was walking to the ring. And he was like, somebody like me just might walk up the stairs. Somebody like me just might walk in the ring. And somebody like me just might slap you in the face. And boom, he slapped him in the face.
That was a great match.
And it was great. Honestly, the finish to that match was so great where he dropped that Claymore while he was doing a backflip. While he was doing a backflip, and he just planted that Claymore perfectly.
That is what you call out of nowhere. We should have a segment on the show just titled it "Out of Nowhere."
Yeah,
out of nowhere moments.
Yeah, that
was out of nowhere moment.
We can always change the format of the show. Remember, we're just starting.
Yeah, we have to have a section show where we just call it the out of nowhere section. The out of nowhere section.
And then Drew McIntyre wins, and obviously this is because Drew McIntyre is new on SmackDown, and he's talking about how he wants to build his stock and work his way back up to the title contention. So we'll see how that goes from here. Then we get this bullshit of a match with the Viking Raiders.
We have a rare sighting of the Viking Raiders. The
Viking Raiders beating Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss,
the stupidest. I don't know where to start with this because there's so many stupids in one sentence. First of all, Happy Corbin is crap. That whole gimmick is garbage. Second of all, Madcap Moss, that's a stupid name. Name. Third of all, that's a stupid team. Like, why would they pair Corbin and Moss?
What I want to know is that
Moss needs to go back to Raw Underground.
No, what I want to know is how come Corbin is still employed. I want to know how Corbin is still employed. That dude's promos are horrible. His wrestling sucks. He should have been one of the people that were released because his gimmick is garbage.
But somehow he's
still there. Well, you know what? Because if you're if you're a team guy, they're gonna keep you.
I guess he's a team. Listen, and no disrespect to Corbin. I follow his personal page on Instagram. I think the guy is cool. Him and I, we have the meat thing in common. Like, he loves meats. I've seen him cooking. Yeah. The guy's a great cook.
But the gimmick, man.
The gimmick. Like, dude, the gimmick is so bad. Like, all the Lone Wolf, Baron Corbin,
the Lone Wolf was a decent gimmick. When they moved him over to the King thing, that's where it kind of went downhill for me.
No, Constable Corbin was where it started going down for him.
Constable Corbin
was freaking horrible. When he started wearing those stupid suit pants, that was crap. Yeah. And then, you went to King Corbin, then Sad Corbin.
Yeah, he went to broke Corbin.
Now Happy Corbin. Like, what is this? A Pokemon?
Yeah. He's evolving.
He's evolving? What is this? And then Madcap Moss. I hadn't seen this guy since Raw Underground when he was Riddick Moss. And I know he's wearing shirts and suspenders and hats and what the hell?
Yeah, I don't get it.
That whole shtick is just trash.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think Riddick Moss or Madcap Moss, he has potential.
Yeah.
The guy has potential.
Just like another guy who I thought had potential and now you don't even see him anymore was freaking Jackson Riker.
Dude, for real. He's another one and Elias.
And Elias fell off the face of the earth too. I'm surprised Elias wasn't released.
Yeah, these guys all have such great. I thought Elias was the next thing. I thought that guy was huge. Like, he had the look, the body,
great gimmick.
I love that.
WWE walk with Elias. You can't get any better than that.
The Miz has been going 30 years with the Miz. The WWE signed upside down for Miz.
Yeah.
For 20 years he's been doing that. This guy literally used WWE in his promos.
Yeah.
Walk with Elias and got it over.
Nope.
And he has the size, the look, the ability, and another one that Vince is like, nope.
Yep, not gonna work. Not having it.
I don't get Vince, man. Like,
so then the Viking Raiders obviously win via count out because
thank God.
Because Corbin and Moss just couldn't cut it clearly in the ring with them anymore. So congratulations.
Can you imagine the Raiders would have lost to them?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Then you're just really burying them at that point. Then we move on to the Woods and Jimmy Uso match, which obviously they wind up Woods winds up winning, and they're having the back and forth banter in the ring, and Jimmy's about to bend the knee and everything, and then of course Roman comes flying out of nowhere with a Superman punch to save the day, and then all of them
moment.
Yeah, another out of nowhere moment, and then all of us we need to cut a sound bite to where I click it and it's like out of nowhere,
And it's like a red we get like a red sign just comes out of nowhere, like pops into the screen.
And and Roman comes in and lands a Superman punch out of nowhere, and then they start beating up the the New Day and everything, which again leads me to a very interesting thought about this, because why would they be building this feud up between them so soon when Survivor Series it's brand against brand?
So what I think they're trying to do, and what I'm hoping that they're trying to do, is long-term storytelling, right? So they're starting the feuds now. So in Survivor Series, somebody betrays somebody. And then that's how the other show wins. And then that builds up the feud a little bit further to the next pay-per-view, which is after Survivor Series.
Yeah, it's December. I forgot what it is.
It used to be December to December, but that's ECW.
Yeah, I forgot what it is. But yeah, the next pay-per-view in December. But the funny
Money in the Bank?
No, Money in the Bank.
Elimination. It was Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. So the funny thing to me about this is that we've already had the Usos and the New Day go back and forth quite a bit. And you know what? And I know we're saying that, and people are like, "Oh, well, you can go back to the Attitude Era where it was Edge and Christian against the Hardys, and the Dudley Boys against Edge and Christian, or the Dudley Boys against the Hardy Boys." And
but the problem is those matches were gimmick matches. 2 matches were never the same. There was a table in one, chairs in the other, ladders in the other. Then they invented the TLC.
But they were entertaining. But they were entertaining matches. Needless to say, you knew what type of match you were going to get. You were going to get when you saw those matches.
Yeah, and like, all right. So let's face it: The Rock versus Triple H happened 1,000 times.
Yeah,
but what made those matches special? The build-up. The build-up. Hell, I saw this video the other day of a promo that when The Rock came back, and they were there, and they're in like Triple H's office, and they're talking about how
25 years, and
you
want to go one more time,
bro. You know what? I was excited for that when they start looking at each other like it ends the same way. I kick your ass up. It doesn't matter 100,000 people. Their buildup was, dude. They had a 5-minute buildup, and I was ready for WrestleMania 30, whatever WrestleMania, this WrestleMania, next WrestleMania. I was ready for it. Yeah, because they knew how to deliver to build up for a match like that. Would it have been a 5-star match? Hell no. Neither of them is in a prime to deliver a 5-star match.
Yeah.
And then, I would love to see a match between Undertaker and Sting, not for the match, for the promos leading up to that.
Oh match. Yeah. I mean, and you know what? And that's one match everybody got cheated out of, thanks to Seth Rollins. Because I would have loved to seen that Undertaker Sting match happen. That would have been something for the ages.
And the match would have probably been total ass. They're both.
The match would have been total shit. It would have been like Goldberg and Undertaker in Saudi Arabia.
But the promos alone, the Icon and the Phenom, 2 of the greatest to ever do it. Oh man, that build-up alone would have been worth it.
Yeah, that would have been some good stuff. So obviously we end with the Bloodline standing over the New Day. So that's obviously going to lead us into the next week's SmackDown. The SmackDown grading for this, I'd give a C for SmackDown.
Yeah.
SmackDown was a solid C at least.
Yep.
Moving on to the later part of Friday night, where we are introduced to Rampage. We've got the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson versus Anthony Bowens of the Acclaimed, and he came out with Max Caster. Dude, Caster. Did you watch it? Did you watch it?
Yes.
So this is gonna
make you go bankrupt. I'll send you to poverty.
And the best thing was he goes, "I'll fire you'll
end careers faster than your father-in-law."
He goes, no. He basically said that he'll fire more people than than your than your father-in-law, because obviously his father-in-law is John Laurinaitis.
So,
The
line was something along the lines of, "I'll get you to Powery. I end
I'm
careers quicker than your father-in-law."
Than your
Oh my
father-in-law.
god!
Yeah,
I replayed that like 5 times. That was so the way he delivered it was so good.
I gotta give it to Max Caster, because Max Caster's good at coming up with that stuff. The only thing that really bugs me about this stuff is that, you know what, everybody just needs to stop talking shit about each other and just wrestle.
Yeah,
just put out the best product you could possibly can and let the product speak for itself.
Yeah, like we spoke about before, I think AEW is great. I think WWE is great. I enjoy wrestling in general. It doesn't matter the show. But AEW really needs to just stop talking about WWE. WWE is living rent-free in the minds of everyone in AEW. Every promo is a shot at WWE. Yeah. And if we look at history, that was the same thing Bischoff did until the night he told everybody that Mick Foley was going to win the title. And everybody turned off WCW Nitro and went to Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
They just need to stop worrying about the competition. If they're really the best, the way they say they are, prove it.
Yeah, and on the storytelling and the wrestling, and let everything else speak for itself.
Exactly. So hopefully one day Dynamite Live won't lose to SmackDown's replays.
Yeah.
And that's not a shot at AEW.
Yeah,
that's not a shot at AEW. It's just serious. Eventually fans will get tired of you mentioning the competition over and over and over again, because it's just annoying. It's cheap writing.
Oh no, absolutely. So we have that match. Obviously Bryan Danielson puts a work on Anthony Bowens, and it was it was a great match. I mean, it just goes to show you the level of technicality that Bryan is at right now. Then we get this epic back and forth between CM Punk and Eddie Kingston to build up the match for Full Gear. Let me tell you something. When Punk came out, started cutting his promo, and then Eddie Kingston came out, I got to tell you something. I almost felt like CM Punk met his match on the mic.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. That was
Eddie cut a solid promo back. And that's the one. And that's the one thing about AEW that I like. They let these guys go out there and just do what they want.
He said the F word.
Yeah.
He said the F word.
Yeah.
They don't give a flying fuck.
These guys go out and do their thing, and that's why people like it, because they know it's not some writers in the back pulling their strings and remembering what to write. They go out there and say, "Hey, have at it. If it flies, great. If not, well then we got to go back to the drawing board." You know,
and it was great, and it's never been more seen than in that exchange between Punk and Kingston. And I told you earlier, I'm not a Kingston fan. I'm really not. And as you know, I'm not a CM Punk fan either.
Yeah.
I think he's overhyped. Listen, AEW's ratings beg to differ. But honestly, so my thing with Punk is I'm not that big of a fan of his wrestling ability, but I don't think that there's anyone other than maybe The Rock that can control a crowd on the mic the way CM Punk does. I don't think there's anyone else. I really don't. Undertaker was able to do it on his Mystique. Austin was definitely able to do it. I forgot about Austin. But if you want to put top 5 people ever on the mic, Punk has to be on that list.
Oh, absolutely. There's no
question. Damn. And you know what? Kingston showed me a lot on Rampage that he can hold his own. He can hold his own on the mic. I can't stand how he wrestles, but he can hold his own on the mic. It was great to watch. It was, and you know what? His accent adds to it, because he's
he's got the New York. He's got the New York accent going, man.
Like he'll pick up a rat off the street and smack you in the face with it. Like that should be part of his gimmick. To be the guy's great. Like that the promo was amazing.
Yeah, that was good. And then obviously we got the Bunny versus Red Velvet for the next part of the TBS tourney, and obviously Red Velvet beat the Bunny, and Red Velvet now is, I think, moving on to fight Jade Cargill in the next round, which I have a feeling that Jade Cargill is going to run that whole board.
Yeah.
She's a specimen.
Yeah, she is incredible. She's a monster, bro. Like she reminds me of Jacqueline and China back in the day. Like
Yeah,
these
if you
just
molded that, yeah, if you put them together, that
these uber powerful women. I think she's gonna run the board, and she's the first TBS champ, hands down.
Yeah, and then after that, we get the main event, which was the Dark Order's John Silver versus the Elite's Adam Cole, baby. And of course, as you guys can see, I'm all elite, baby. So rocking my my Adam Cole shirt. And the Young Bucks were out there as well. Great match. Don't know much about
amazing match.
Don't know much about John Silver, but dude, that dude can freaking wrestle.
Yeah. Normally I would say that Adam Cole makes anyone look good, but Silver held his own, man. That was a hell of a match, a hell of a way to end Rampage.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Adam Cole fan. I think the guy's great.
I love Adam Cole. Adam Cole's the best.
Yeah. I can't argue that. Literally, one of the best wrestlers out there right now is Adam Cole. The guy is incredible on the mic, incredible in the ring. His persona, his everything, man.
He's got everything going for everything going for him right now. The funny thing is now going back to people getting released and stuff like that. I can only hope that Kyle O'Reilly walks away and then he comes to AEW and then we get the reuniting of Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly.
Only if it happens with
only if it happens and they're under a different. They have to be under a different name though.
And only if it happens with the Young Bucks turning on Cole.
Yeah, exactly.
And Fish and Riley come and save him.
Yep.
And we have a reunion.
Yep.
And they have like an NWO style invasion where they just take no prisoners.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be such.
I would love for that to happen. I would love for that to happen. Will it? We don't know. Can we hold hope and pray?
Yeah.
It's very plausible it can happen. So
I'm pretty sure Tony Khan's going to be watching our podcast.
Hey, Tony, if you're watching,
this is what
listen, we could write for you.
Hey, you know what? We can.
And you know what? You don't even, and you know what? You don't even have to pay us. We'll do it for free.
On about that.
Oh, I'll do it for free. So then we got so then that's the end of Rampage.
If you're good at something, you'd never do it for free, sir.
I do it for free just for the experience. So
you just want to be in the same locker room as half those
exactly. So with that being said, I'm gonna give Rampage a B. I thought Rampage was a B.
A B? No,
yeah,
that's an A- show. They started with. First of all, they started with Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson, damn it!
Yeah, I know. We're all still trying to get acclimated to that name change.
Like really, like seriously, like they reverse your name in WWE. Like it's so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great way to start the show. The CM Punk Eddie Kingston was probably the best promo of the week.
Yeah.
Red Velvet versus the Bunny was a great match. The main event, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks versus John Silver and the Dark Order was just great. That's an A-, dude. I mean, there's very little I can find wrong on that show. The only reason I don't give it a full A is because the fact that Bryan Danielson and CM Punk still aren't in a storyline. They're just finally Punk is starting this storyline, this feud with Kingston. But Bryan Danielson, they're just throwing him in matches.
Well, Brian. Well, see, this is what I disagree with. They're putting Bryan Danielson out there so people just stay synonymous with him, and he's just riding the wave that he's on right now because he is going to win at Full Gear against Miro, and he's either gonna have that rematch against Kenny or he's gonna wind up fighting Hangman.
I want Kenny, and you know what? Nothing against Hangman. I think the guy is great. But I think Bryan Danielson for Kenny Omega is a much better match. And with
it was a great match. When we got it at New York in Arthur Ashe, that was in October. That was a fantastic match.
But I think for the belt, with everything on the line, I think that match is going to be even better. And I want Danielson to beat Omega.
Well, we'll see what happens. So so out of all the shows this week, what was your show of the week?
Rampage.
All right, so I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna agree with you, and I'm gonna say, Rampage was my show of the week. Now, with that being said, out of everything that we saw, what was your match of the week?
So that's a little harder to pick. Rampage was by far the better show, but there was pretty much a good match in every show, except Raw. We're just gonna skip Raw.
We're just gonna forget Raw
Raw
happened.
was a freaking snooze fest, dude. I loved Zion Quinn versus Robert Stone.
I'm just a sexy boy.
That was great.
Boy. You know, we're gonna have to call WWE and Shawn Michaels to see if we can get the rights to that song for you.
Right? Oh god, so great. I actually have it as my ringtone. The Kenny and an Angels Hangman coming out was great. Inner Circle, that segment was great. But no, you know what? I'm gonna make it easier on myself, and I'm just gonna go with Rampage's main event. John Silver versus the Elite.
That's exactly what.
So
yeah,
good.
that's exactly what I was gonna go with. I'm still trying to get acclimated to the name changes of the moves. You know, obviously because when Adam Cole was in NXT, his finishing move was the running knee, and obviously it was called the last shot. Now they're calling it the boom.
Yeah,
so to play along with the boom gimmick. So, but yeah, I'm going to say
not a fan, but I'll go with it.
I'm going to say John Silver versus Adam Cole was definitely match of the week for me. I thought that was a fantastic match, really well put together. And again, Adam Cole is really good at telling a match, with the high points and the low points. He knows when to pick up the speed, when to slow it down. So
his ring psychology is through the roof.
So now we're going to jump into the final segment of the show where we do our weekly power rankings. So we're going to go 1 through 10 of what I think my rankings are and what Jan thinks his rankings are. And, we'll see if they align. So, obviously starting out number 9 for me, I'm going to go Drew McIntyre, number 10. I'm sorry. I'm going to go.
Why are you starting at 9?
Yeah. Number 10. I'm going to go Drew McIntyre on number 9. Number 10. Number 9, I'm gonna go with. This is gonna be a real shot in the dark, but I'm gonna go with Josh Alexander at number 9.
Wow. Okay.
Number 8. I'm gonna go. Number 8. I'm gonna go Miro. Number 7. I'm gonna go with Xavier Woods.
Okay.
I like what Woods is doing right now. I feel like he's put in his time and earned his due. Number 6, I'm gonna go with Rollins. I think Rollins is right there around 6. Number 5, I'm gonna go with Ciampa.
Okay. Like that.
Number 4, I'm gonna go with number 4. I'm going with Punk.
Okay.
Number 3, number 4. I'm going with Punk. Number 3, I'm going with Brian Danielson.
Okay.
Number 2, I'm gonna go with Kenny.
Yeah. Okay.
And number 1 is a tie in my opinion between Roman and Big E. So
okay, I like that list. So mine, I want to do a little bit more different. Wow, Jesus Christ, a little bit differently. So I don't want to just do it on the winners and losers. I want to say who benefited the most this week.
Well, that's kind of like what I did. I thought like who, I kind of based it off of like who had more TV time, who made me feel, who I felt, had bigger presence. I wasn't basing it off of like wins and losses.
Okay. So number 10 for me would honestly be Big E. And my explanation to that is his feud didn't go anywhere. It had no advancement. The whole thing with Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins just fell flat to me. That ending for Raw was horrible. So I put Big E in at number 10. Number 9, I'm gonna put CM Punk. Just because he was gonna be number 10, but that feud, that exchange with Kingston,
the build up with him and Kingston, kind of put it over the top.
It made me want to see it. 8, is definitely. I think you said Miro. And I have to agree with that. 7 will be Brian for me. 6, 5, and 4. are oh no, sorry. 6 is Drew McIntyre. His match with that out of nowhere, it was nice.
Yeah, the Claymore gets you every time.
5, 4, and 3 is all NXT. Solo Sikoa, Braun Breaker, and Zion Quinn. Those not because of the sexy boy, but just because they're breakout superstars.
Okay.
That I feel their matches put them in that spot where, like, all right, they had the best move up. Like they really moved up in that section. And then my number 2 would be Kenny. Kenny's the man. And number 1 is definitely Roman. The guy has had
Roman's had a phenomenal year.
Yeah, he's the top dog right now. The PWI whatever sports put Kenny is number 1, Roman is number 2, but Roman's had a hell of a year. His heel run and everything has just been excellent.
Yeah, it's been a good run for him. That's why I had him kind of like tossed at number, had him in there at number 1.
And that's just me putting this week. Next week, this all might change.
Oh, it's always going to change. It's always going to change. It's never going to be the same. So with that being said, if you guys are watching this on YouTube right now, in the comments section, why don't you guys join in with us and leave your thoughts on what you think your top power rankings were, because I'm interested to see what everybody else's thoughts are on that. I think with that being said, dude, that is bringing us to the end of the show, which, I got to say for our first show, it was really good. A lot of back and forth banter. It's good that, we both have difference of opinions on certain things. So, it's just not going to be another one of those shows where everybody agrees on everything, and again, as this goes on, there will be solid debates, I'm sure, between two of us, because again, we have very different interests.
We're gonna get into it with CM Punk eventually. This is just lighthearted. It's our first show. We're gonna get into it about CM Punk because you love CM Punk, and to me, he's mediocre at best. So at best, so you and I are gonna get into it eventually. But here on this podcast, we want your opinions, guys. We just want to share ours. We're just two guys having fun.
Exactly.
And we believe in, we like to rough pass in this show.
This is a podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans. So that's what it is. We're not professionals in any way, shape, or form. We just like to discuss our thoughts and share our opinions with you guys about this stuff. Guys, don't
Tony Khan wants to hire us, in which case we will be professional writers.
I'm available. So with that being said, guys, next Saturday, November 13th, join us live here on the channel at 7:00. Me and Jan are going to go live before Full Gear. We're going to do a live prediction show, and we're going to put our predictions in, and you guys can also chime in and who you think's going to win as well too, and we're looking forward to that. So so guys, with that being said, if you like what you saw, please be sure to subscribe, give a thumbs up, hit the bell so you get notified every time we drop another video. Jan, it's been a blast as always, buddy.
Yes, sir. It's been fun.
So for the world's strongest podcaster and the Rated R podcast star, we'll see you guys next time in the ring. So stay tuned, and we'll see you back here next week for another episode of the World Wrestling Podcast.